Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back once again. Your two favorite people. My name's Iz,
My name is Willie.
and we are going in with Willie and Iz. And today's show, what we're going to talk about is the shootings, man. These shootings. We're just getting out of a COVID situation. Everybody's talking about getting back to normal, but we're talking about getting back to normal. We're talking about going back to school, going back to work, going out to eat, doing all these things. Not the normalcy of mass shootings and all this other tragedy. We don't want that, man. That's just horrible, man. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Willie? It's crazy
Well,
out
you know,
there.
I saw this little thing, and it was saying men can be divided into two groups, and which I believe that's where we are as a country. We're divided into two groups. One that goes ahead and achieves something, and one that comes after and criticize. So when we look at our current situation, that's what's going on.
Hmm.
So when you look at the mass shootings, first you want to look at the age of these mass shooters, 21. You know these guys are, and if you look at these two people, one Muslim and one young white guy.
Hmm.
Now, in the publicity, like so far after the Atlanta shooting, I haven't been inundated with nothing but the Colorado shooting because
Yeah.
he's a Muslim. And this kid was here at 3 years of age.
Hmm.
So we're not saying that this is a hate crime. He definitely had a mental issue,
Yeah.
and that's been exposed. I don't know about the young guy in Atlanta,
Hmm.
but
Massage parlor place. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm watching the way he went in and shot. He went in three different places and shot up places.
Yeah.
Well, this guy just went to the grocery store. All of them wrong. I'm not condoning
No.
any of it.
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
But they're equal. They're
But
both equally wrong. They're both terrorists. They're both
yeah,
like terrorists. When you go in, it's a mass killing. When you go when you go in and kill a lot of people, not you don't have a target.
yeah.
You try to I'm mad at that person because they did me wrong for whatever reason. That's a straight killing. But when you're going into killing and you're targeting a certain segment of the population,
That's
and
domestic.
that's what when it goes back to the Asian when it goes back to the Asian hate. Some people are
Yeah,
trying to say, well, no, hey, what did that officer say when
he
oh,
just
he
had
was
a
having a
bad
bad
day.
day. He was having a bad day. Well, hell, it's a hell of a bad day. But I mean, who are you? The trial hasn't started. You're not a psychologist, anything like that. Um, who are you to say, oh, he's having a bad day? Why are you trying to? It sounds like he's trying to make an excuse for him to try to set up something in the public eye to taint the jury pool.
But they've always done that. Look what happened to Dalen Roof. Oh,
Oh,
Dalen, you
that's
you
right.
just I know you upset, so we're gonna take you by McDonald's and get you a
McDonald's.
hamburger.
Yeah.
No, what kind of shit? George Zimmerman,
Yep. Another
same
one.
thing.
Hmm.
You, you know, it's just like, and it's so obvious when you just see it just so blatantly put out there. I was looking at Marjorie Green. Man, she is such a dimwit. The
Hmm.
first thing now, you had the Atlanta shooting, which is from her state, Georgia, where she representing. But soon as this young guy from Colorado and he was a Muslim, the first thing she done
Yeah.
was post his picture and talk about him
Yeah.
like he's a domestic terrorist. Uh, so with the assault rifle, come on, man. I love guns. I grew up with
Yeah.
guns, but I knew when my brother and my uncle and all those guys went to war, they
Hmm.
used M16. They didn't go with shotguns.
Yep.
They didn't go with
No,
30 or
automatic.
6. No, man, they went with weapons of mass destruction because that's what they have to do. You got a short
Killing.
time
Yeah.
to take out as many people as possible.
Killing tools.
And citizens do not need that kind of weaponry, and especially when they're 21. This young guy in Colorado, he go get the gun. He didn't even have both of those guys got their gun like the same day. One
Yeah.
got his the morning in Georgia, and the other one just got his 6 days ago.
Hmm.
So that's why we need to. It's got to be background checks. I
Yeah.
mean,
That's
clearly we gotta have background checks because look what happened when you don't have them, and you still could slip through the going
the
with the
cracks.
gun
Yeah.
shows and
Hmm.
all this kind of stuff. And and Congress is setting up here. When I listen to Ted Cruz, there is no. It's probably two people I just want to smack, just like all day long. Just sign up, clock in the morning, and all day long it's to smack Ted Cruz and Mitch McConnell. and then at noon smack Lindsey Graham. You know, that just should be my job for that day.
You already know. You already know. You made the first mistake was you said I listen to Ted Cruz. Don't do that. Don't do that. You'll drive yourself crazy. Going back to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I think that's the crux of the issue that we're talking about. It's not just the mass shootings. It's the way we're giving our representatives. You have people that were killed in your state. You should have come out and condemned that right away. You know,
Yeah.
you should. It doesn't matter if he's white, purple, orange,
It's wrong.
yellow, whatever. But when you come out and then now because you found out he was a Muslim gentleman, you want to come out and say something. That's very apparent. And then you can't say you are not racist. You can't. Your actions speak louder than anything you can say. It's just the hate from these people, the Q people. It's just she's one of those Q people.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. All you can try to do is show them the way. If they don't take it, then that's on them. You know.
Yeah.
What more can you do? It's a crazy world, man. It's a crazy world.
It's so crazy when you look at all these things. I mean, even like Senator Johnson from Wisconsin, when he made the blatant statement, those weren't rioters and insurrectionists that went into the Capitol. Yeah, those guys were just citizens that's concerned about their country, and they are law-abiding citizens, and they don't do anything. You kill cops.
Yeah, except you kill cops, right?
Yeah, and you kill cops, and you saying, but then you come right back. What I find so appalling now is not only we know that they think like this, but now they don't even try to hide how they feel. They just a bullhorn now. But if they've been black, though, I'd have been kind of worried.
Oh yeah, he said if they were BLM, he said I'd be worried about him. This guy, Johnson, he's a knucklehead. Yeah. He's just a knucklehead himself. It goes back to the way they're quiet when it's a white person, and call it how it is. They're quiet when it's a white person, but when it's anybody else, they're all over it. Fox News don't say nothing. Fox News is quiet. They'll report it. Oh, shooting, some people dead, and be done with it. They don't go into. But when it's a Muslim, when it's some of a Latino, they're all over. Oh, look at this is why we need immigration reform, because look at all these people coming in. When the majority of these killings and shootings are from people that are here. You know, look at the numbers. And what they want to do and what they do is they use their platform to amplify the few shootings that are done by other people that are born than others that are born here, and try to make that same. And then what makes me upset, I'm gonna say pissed off. What upsets me is that these people feed into it, and they don't look anywhere else. They got their little
blinders on.
Yeah, they got their blinders on to the Fox News TV or OAN or these other places to say, oh, this is right. Oh, I can't believe nothing else. Fox has got me right.
But
Fox has been wrong so many times, man.
Look how many suits they got. I mean,
call it news.
It's just straight garbage with Hannity and sucker ass Carson and Jeannie Pereiro, and it's just like these guys are so blatant. And you know what really just upset me with the GOP, and I'm like whether it's GOP Democrats, like I'm looking at Cuomo right now. I'm saying Cuomo, like bro, you gotta let this go. But this is a pattern that they do. Yeah. But getting back on those guys, these guys never say anything about policy, how they would make it better, what they would do. Ted Cruz saying, well, just getting background checks and stuff like that is not going to solve the problem. We just need to lock people up. How you going to lock them up when they don't have any kind of history? Well, you're just going to go around and say like, oh, you look like you'll do it, and so I'm going to just lock you up.
Oh, and it depends on what color you are, too.
Yeah.
This Latin, what is he? Is a Latin Canadian? I don't even know what he is. I don't know. I got the last surname Cruz, too, and we don't claim him.
No.
No, we don't claim him.
Ted Cruz is just like, bro, do you even know? He doesn't even know who he is, and he'll just say in and everything just to get approval. And I guess that's why he's over there. When I look at the
all wishy-washy.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, dude, look at the kids that's doing the killing. Look at the people they're just shooting down. And you don't think it's a problem? It has gotten progressively worse since Columbine.
Yeah, because they're not doing anything about it.
Nothing.
They're not doing. It goes up, and I was watching something, and they had when Obama, I think it was in January of 2016, if I'm not mistaken, and he was talking about his presidency and stuff, and trying to get these rifles, and he thought that they were going to really do something when it came down to Sandy Hook because of
Yeah.
all these kids. And you see him getting emotional, man. He's a dad. I mean, you got to put yourself in a situation where what if it's your kids?
Yeah.
And then they have the audacity to kind of put it on right-wing media about, oh, that was a hoax. And then they try to say some shit like that. And then, that gets me pissed off because I know people in our group that Willie, that
Yeah.
think that Sandy Hook is a joke and it's not
Yeah.
real. And I push back. I'm like, dude, what the fuck you saying,
I'm
dude?
like,
It's not. That's you're perpetuating all this bullshit that 90% of it is coming from Russia. And even the facts are still coming out that Russia still in 2020 try to get Trump elected again, they don't care. The stuff that's being spewed out now still about Hillary Clinton. Why are you worried about Hillary Clinton?
she ain't running for office.
Because it riles those people up.
Yeah.
And they know that if they get them riled up, try to separate the races, because that's what's happening. If you look at all this propaganda that's coming out of Russia, you need to realize that this is a Putin plan, that all of these people on the right are feeding into and making it worse because the divisiveness is here already.
Yeah.
And you look at it, even with this gun situation, and look at the way they're portraying it in the news, quote unquote.
You know what? I saw a old quote, and it was saying like, if you don't think this country is good and you think it's really bad, I know someone would really love to have it. Russia.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying
that's what they're doing.
They've been forever. This is just like
this is Stalin's playbook, man. This is Stalin's playbook. If y'all don't know who Stalin is, who's listening and watching this, look up Stalin. Look up what he's been trying to do. He's been trying to create issues in the West, which is us in Europe.
Forever.
They've been trying to influence elections forever. Now they're in, man. They got it, and they understand how to get people's racist views. And I'm talking about this country now, even in Europe probably. But what they're doing is they're getting people from their views because they have deep-seated hatred, or whatever, for other people, because they're saying the browning of America, they don't like it. They think that it's gonna be, it's gonna be. I was watching the Cesar Chavez movie. I never saw that one with dude. It was good because they're talking about, and it's about the haves and have-nots. They try to perpetuate it as being black, white, brown, all this other stuff, but it's really the rich people holding down everyone else. You looked at, and there's racism, and I'm not saying there's not racism, but when it comes down to it, it's like in that movie they talked about all the landowners and all the people, but then they try to cut this fool's off at the knees by like, oh yeah, we're gonna sell all our grapes. You're gonna boycott here in the United States? We're gonna sell them in Europe. He went to Europe and said, you ain't gonna sell them here either, because the labor force in Europe, in England, was a lot stronger than it was here. So he just told the story over there and said, here's what they're trying to do to us. If you buy these, you're supporting, all these rich people who aren't supporting them.
And that's exactly what it's about. Look how the GOP would applaud increase in lowering the taxes for the 1%ers. And they'll stand up but they fought tooth and nail not to give people $1,400, knowing that they're, what's so sad
Zero
about
Republicans.
Zero. Everything that they were saying, no, we don't want it. And what's so sad when you just look at the history of how they have manipulated poor people, black and white, and they will make the white people think, oh, we for you too. In the South, for instance, they made sure that you only got like 50 cents or 75 cents an hour, even when they was paying you. And they would pay those guys like $1.25.
Yeah.
But look how much they were getting on the back end of it. And I'm thinking like, dude, what do you think $1.25 an hour opposed to my 75 cents an hour going to do for you? You still can't buy anything.
No.
And they sucker them all the time.
But and we talk about, because you go back. I was watching that Will Smith documentary on Netflix, the 14th.
Yeah.
The men. So I was looking at that and just going back and looking at everything, just even with the Chinese back, they needed cheap labor. The Chinese came, they did the railroads, and then we're like, oh, you're getting too big. We're gonna ship you back. We're gonna do all this. We're gonna massacre you guys, and we're gonna do all this. Then they did it to the Japanese. Then the Mexicans came, and then them from the blacks. Obviously, they originated from the blacks. But all of these people who try to come up, and they start trying to make inroads and segues and start getting organized. Once Americans, Europeans, not natives, because they ain't Americans. So European settlers, once they saw that other people were trying to come up, they because they realize and they believe that this isn't a white country. Not everybody, but they do. So when the powers that be, and even some people in Congress, and if you look at these laws that they're passing, it's still there, man. It's still there.
They have not changed.
So it's there. It's sad, but it's true.
You should not be stumbling over things that's behind you, but we constantly do.
That means you're walking backwards. That means you're walking backwards if you're stumbling stuff behind you.
Because that's when they
forward.
Yeah, that's when they feel empowered. They are so afraid of people with, and it's so crazy. I'm thinking like, so you want the store to just? It's not like Asian hadn't been dogged out for years in a way. They are more passive and they wouldn't say anything. They just kind of keep it and squash it in their communities.
Yeah,
they just wanted food. Know how they do.
They just wanted food for their work.
That's all.
That's all they got paid for the railroads.
Yeah, and it told them, you can't vote and you can't buy land here. I don't care if you're born here, you have no rights. Yeah. And now I'm thinking like, you know what was funny? I had this young white boy tell me, he said like, Willie, you know what I can't understand about our people? I said like, what's that? He said, we see within the next 20 or 30 years, it's going to be a complete brownout in America. Mm-hmm. He said, we know it's coming. He said, but you think it would be to our best interest to try to befriend people so they won't come back and be treating us like they treated you. He said, but oh no, we're a bunch of dumbasses and we won't do it.
And the whole struggle is for equality. Nobody, if you look at history, nobody's trying to come up and be like, okay, I'm going to take over. I'm going to knock you off your watchtower, right? Because we're the people at the bottom, supposedly. And we're not going to knock you off your watchtower. We just want equality. We're not trying to come up on top of you. But the more you beat a dog, the more you beat the dog, that dog's going to get mad. If you start treating a dog right and be like, that dog's going to be your best friend.
He's going to be your best friend.
Maybe that's not the best analogy, but, when it comes down to it,
you can't. But just like you and I, all we want to do is just provide for our family and have the things that our family want. Whether it's something better than yours or less than yours, has nothing to do with you. We just don't want to be impeded from getting what we want. Yeah. Because we work for it and this is all we want. We want the best for our kids, just like you want the best for your kids. Mm-hmm. We want to live in a nice neighborhood, just like you can live in the neighborhood you want to. You can just go about your business. You ain't got to go hang out or do none of this stuff. Yeah. But these guys, it just seems like it's hardwired in their DNA that they're just better than anybody that don't look like them. And it's so sad because when I look at this mass killing, I'm like, dude, you just went in there and you just killed all these Asian people and just took some more people out because they just happened to be there. Yeah. But we know what your agenda was. And then they said, that's not a hate crime. Well, why you kill all Asian then? Yeah. Why? I'm sure there was probably there might have been another restaurant, some other Mediterranean food, maybe a Mexican food spot over here. How come you didn't go into those spots? Yeah. You the hamburger stand on the corner, Yeah, do the same thing. It's very apparent. They're trying to manipulate the message. They've been trying to manipulate the message forever. You know what? They're so bad at it, and it's just they're bad at it. But what's worse is people feed into it and believe that shit. I know people need to start feeding their mind with truth. I was like, I don't even argue with them anymore. I'm saying you can't. You waste your time. Don't waste your time. Here's the best analogy I say, is just like churn. So we have the ship that's bogged down in the Suez Canal. Oh, yeah. Canal. So you got all this cargo on there, and they got these little tugboats trying to pull out something that weighs 220 tons. And they say, oh, we got to dig it out, and we got to do all this. thinking, like, bro, you got to unload that ship.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ever how long it take you to
Put it on
unload that
trucks.
ship?
Put it on trucks and drive. Just
You
go.
got
You got.
you got to unload the ship to take that weight off. And in the meantime, while you sitting here contemplating on what our next move going to be, all those ships are just bogged down.
Mhm.
Now we're going to have a delay in everything that we wanted because everything got to come by ship.
Yep.
And because we got idiots. These guys are so stupid, and I have watched them over the years, ever since I was a little boy. I just see them do stupid shit. I'm going like, I mean, this is not rocket science. We saw this guy was driving an 18-wheeler, and you know they got the height limit. So he got stuck on the little underpass. They brought out all kind of engineers and I don't want to do that. We can't tear the bridge down and shit like this. And this little boy kept telling them, sir, I know what you can do. You need to shut up, son. This is grown folks business right here. And he said, like, all you gotta do is let the air out of tires, bro. Just let that what the fuck?
Yeah.
But this
Simple.
is when we look at our it's almost embarrassing to say these are our congressmen sitting up in there making decisions for the people.
Yeah.
You wonder, like, how do a person like Marjorie Greene get to be elected in office? And they were saying, I found out, didn't nobody run against her, so
Yeah,
she
that's what I
automatically won.
There's somebody that's going to run against her. I heard about it.
Yeah,
I think it's a gentleman that they were interviewing him, and he's like, yeah, this isn't who we are as a people here. She's crazy.
she's
So
just
hopefully,
crazy, man.
but it's telling about the population and the fact that you have people that are being sent to Congress that are like this. So the GOP, which we're now calling the GQP because the Q is really Q, because a lot of them still believe in this
A lot of them.
stop steal. There's all kinds of stuff. And then your homegirl, the lawyer, who said, "Oh, y'all shouldn't have believed me. I was just kidding with whole stop the steal," because she got slapped with $1 billion lawsuit. She has to try to backtrack. You're on tape. Your damage is done. Those are damages. You created damage. You can't say, "Oh, I was just kidding" now because I got caught. No, you don't do that. You don't steal. You don't rob a bank, get caught, and be like, "Oh no, I'm borrowing this money. I'm gonna take it back."
Yeah, I'm gonna pay it
No,
back.
it don't work like that.
And what's so sad is, like, these guys get caught and they be on camera, and then they say, "That's not me."
Like, look at Ted
that's
Cruz, your
you.
boy. "Oh, I was just coming to drop him off." You don't buy a ticket to go drop off. You drop him off at the airport, and then you don't go drop him off and then go to the airport where you're taking him and then come back.
Who does that? And you got a little bag trailing behind you, like, I'm just going for the weekend, bro.
I'm going for a day, but I got about 7 days of clothes in here.
This is so amazing.
Yeah.
That we're stuck in this time when
Mhm.
we really need to be concentrating on climate changes and we need to be going green, and we need to be worrying about getting our kids back in school to make sure they're in a safe environment. Our kids done lost a year. How crippling is that going to be for them? And look at our suicide rate amongst kids.
Yeah.
I just lost a young guy this week that was 24 years old and just went outside and just killed himself.
Yeah.
And everybody's wondering, like, but he was so nice and he was smiling. Yeah, but depression comes in so many disguises you can't figure it out.
Look at Robin Williams
every day.
Robin Williams, happiest dude. And then he hangs himself from one day to the next. They put that facade up, and people, the hurt between somebody, you can't say, "Oh, well, look at," when you find people that that do all these mass killings and stuff. When they interview the neighbors, like, "Oh, he was so quiet. He was this, he was that." They don't know, but the person behind the facade that they want you to see, well, like social media, same thing. You got all these people that looking like they're going places and stuff. They're in their backyard talking about, "Oh, I'm in Mexico. I'm over here in Hawaii," and just because they got some green lush, take some pictures.
And people buy
it's
it.
a facade. It's a facade.
It's so sad, because I'm thinking, man, at some point people are gonna have to wake up.
Yeah, they have to wake up sooner than later, because we were this close to losing our democracy. We were really this close to losing our democracy, and but when it going circling back though, when it comes to the guns, the NRA, you hadn't heard about the NRA because there's all kinds of stuff happening, and they're like on their last footing.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that this doesn't give them energy to recruit, to fundraise and stuff like that, because they use anything. They'll use anything to try to fundraise and stuff.
Because they want to look at it. They were saying, "Oh, it's a caravan coming." And you know what? I was looking at Biden. He was talking about the influx of migrants coming. He's like, but every year about this time, but
Yeah.
forever,
Yeah. That's not
because
new.
it's during the time they could actually cross when it's not hot and you
Yeah.
drying up and stuff.
And yeah, there's desert down there. You went through the
Yeah,
desert.
you
Yeah.
can't be crossing in July and August. That's not a good time.
Yeah, they're trying to say because it's Biden. Biden's in office. Oh, look what's happening now. That's
It was 31% last year.
yeah.
So and ASO cut out all the funding that could go in there and help those countries to, stymie the cartels and all the sex trafficking and all this stuff.
Yep.
But now these guys just got free reign, and these people say, I don't want to lose my son to no shit like this, and my daughters and stuff like this. So we got so much to worry about. They don't want to put people in office that's going to make a difference, that got some sense. They hate for the young people. They don't like the our girl down here, Katie Porter. They don't like the AOCs. They don't like the young brother out there in Colorado, DeGrasse. They don't like the young brothers, the two young brothers from Georgia come in there. They don't want to hear new ideas, and they don't understand their time has passed. These guys should never get to stay in office this long because they're just like the Supreme Court justice. They put up a good front, but all they doing is playing checkers and solitary. Don't have to worry about losing their job. They're going to be in there till they die. They got the death benefit. No, when you don't give somebody something that they got to work for, and they just laying there and don't have to worry about not being threatened by their position and thing, you're gonna have a problem because they're gonna be just like the big mega church ministers. They don't care, bro.
And
now we got
that money. I need to make this plain note. I gotta get these 7 cars. I gotta get this house paid off. Just send me that money. It's sad. It's sad. I mean, you shouldn't have so much. You shouldn't be in excess. You should be giving back.
That's the only thing we can do is just keep doing what we can do and hope we can reach people and make them see. We're not saying we got all the answers, but we got to have some kind of communication. Tell me what you don't like. I tell you what I like, and then we can't see if we can't split the differences and see if we can't make the world a better place for our kids.
Yeah.
You're a lot younger than me, and I'm thinking like, man, I'm sitting here pissed because my grandkids got to go through the same shit I went through in the 60s and my parents went through. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's all it is, just bullshit. So because we're losing, look how many kids we've lost in mass shooting that has actually done the mass shooting, overdose from drugs, depression, and now not only that, our population gets smaller because they're not producing anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, brother. So we at this point now where we just have to pick it up next week.
Yeah, that's true. But I want to leave you with one question. What about your boy Joe Manchin in West Virginia?
I do not understand this guy.
I think he's a Republican. I think he's a Republican in hiding, to be honest.
What they call them, rhinos? Yeah, he's a dino. He's a Democrat.
So there, he's a dino because he wants Republicans to vote on certain things. Like, no, man, you got the majority. You can do things. Now you want the Republicans to come on. I get it. You want bipartisanship, but the United States didn't vote for bipartisanship when they voted the majority Democrat. Look what your boy McConnell did. He didn't do anything. He did nothing passed when he was in office.
And that's what they do.
Opportunity to get shit done because you have
they
a majority.
Don't pass nothing. They just sit there. Yeah. They just love that power and love people to be talking about them. And I think but I'm looking at Joe Manchin. I'm saying, like, you sitting up here in Virginia, brother. So you actually steal some of those old racist people that was in those positions. Just you got in because you want to run as a Democrat.
Yeah,
because Democrats could win at that time. He was just like Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a Democrat that ran the Republicans because he could get in. Joe Manchin done the reverse. He's a Republican sitting there. I'm going like, wow.
Yeah.
I just wish all of them had a short term.
They got to get that fool out of there. I think we got to get him out of there.
He got to go.
All right, my brother. That's a good show. Wrapping it up. It's been good, man. It's been a minute. Sorry we were out for a few weeks. I was a little under the weather. We'll leave it at that. I'm sure you can read between the lines. But I'm back, and we back.
And one thing about it,
you guys again.
You might have been out, but everything kept going.
That's right. Yeah. And so we got some more. We got a lot more to talk about. So we'll see you all next week on Going In with Willie and Iz. Y'all stay up. My name's Iz.
My name is Willie. Stay positive, people. We can do this.
Positive. Peace out.
And do you?